people say, you heard people say this, I know, well, we all went to Doc Palmer, and he was a great guy, great dentist, The thing about Bobby Jindal, and you could say this about a lot of these guys, is how do they wake up one morning and look in the mirror and say, you know what, I should really be president because I'm not in over my head enough as it is.
Mike Gelfand on local dentists and Republican presidential candidates.
Did you vote for Ronald Reagan?
Yeah.
Jeff Straight visits the Republican, DFL, and Echo pavilions at the Minnesota State Fair. Jon Spayde's pal from Rhode Island has been there too.
The ride thing, the midway thing, up and down.
It's the midway, the roller coaster.
It makes me nauseous,
But we begin Democratic Visions with a candidate for the Eden Prairie School Board. Here's Jeff Straight.
There are elections being held in November, and they're important ones. Asad Aliweyd is among 7 candidates standing for election to 4 open seats on the Eden Prairie School Board. Asad Aliweyd is one of Eden Prairie's most dedicated community leaders. I know this because I have seen him in action.
Followed by Asad Aliweyd.
Over the past 4 years, we have each weighed in at public meetings and hearings on transit equity, affordable housing, and the future of Eden Prairie's Town Center District. We both currently serve on the Southwest Light Rail Project's Community Advisory Committee. It has appointees from Eden Prairie, Minneapolis, Minnetonka, Hopkins, St. Louis Park, and several community service organizations. We'll learn more about Asad in a moment, but first, welcome to Democratic Visions.
Thank you.
Now, I got a question. Why are you running for the school board?
I'm running for the school board because I believe public education and having a good quality public education is our future. I am a father of 7 children, all grew up in Eden Prairie. I was a former teacher. I involved with public education in our district. Our children, they are going to the leaders of tomorrow. So we have to invest them in good quality education in science and mathematics and all technology and engineering. I believe public education is a good thing. I will be accountable to each and every child and each and every parent in our school district to make sure to advocate for the interests of the children in the school district.
If you are elected, and I think you will be, what do you want to accomplish on the school board?
I would like to see the achievement gap is narrowed. I would like to see parents and community are closer to with the administration, the school administration. I would like to see Eden Prairie schools to be the top of the schools in this southwest area. I think now we are the second to Edina. I would like to create a parent advisory council so we will be able to know what's going on with the schools more, not only from the administration, but also from the community, from the parents. And what I see now, what I observe is that when kids graduate from high school, they lack of teamwork skills or communication skills. When they graduate from the high school, they should be prepared to go find a job right away. Those are the things that are essential and vital for the kids to learn in the high school.
Asad has teaching and tutoring experience at Eden Prairie and Roosevelt High Schools. Is founder and executive director of the New American Academy. The nonprofit agency helps East African youth, adults, and families adapt to living and working in Minnesota. Did you ever imagine that you'd be in the kind of position you are now?
I haven't really imagined that I'm going to run for Eden Prairie School Board, or I will have the kind of education background that I get. However, I knew that America is a land of opportunity. I know that if you really work hard, it's pay off. So I think what I have accomplished is what America is known for, the land of opportunity. I'm pursuing my doctorate in public administration here in Hamlin University. I get my undergraduate in mathematics teaching, 5-12 grade from Metro State University. And I had my master's degree in business administration here in Hamlin. But I went to high school in Somalia.
Asad is or has been a board member on several regional agencies, including the Alliance for Metropolitan Stability, and served on various Hennepin County and Met Council advisory panels.
I want to put my time and effort and energy to help our school district.
Asad, I've mentioned this before, but you are going to be concerned about all of Eden Prairie students, correct?
Yes, as a board member, I will be accountable, and for each and every child in our school district, I will advocate for the interest of our students, no matter who that student is or where that student came from.
To learn more about Asad's candidacy, visit his website. It's at asadaliweyd.com. asadaliweyd.com. When Mike Gelfand and I got together in August in his kitchen, Mike talked about the Republican candidates for president, his cat named Peanut, the ex-Zimbabwe lion known as Cecil, and an Eden Prairie dentist. Mike, what's your take on that big game trophy hunting dentist from my town, from Eden Prairie?
Well, here's the thing that at first blush I find a little amusing. People say, you heard people say this, I know, well, we all went to Doc Palmer, and he was a great guy, great dentist. We never had any idea that he was out there killing all these animals that were endangered or almost endangered. And how do we know that he was this horrible sadist? How did you know? He's a dentist. I mean, that's how you should know. Let me tell you a little story. My old dentist, Leo Polterock was his name. He was a good man. Leo had a little office. It was more like a cubby hole on Minnetonka Avenue, okay? I never saw another patient in Leo's office. It was just me and my brother and my dad and mom. We would call up Leo. First thing you heard was the police radio in the background. That's how Leo entertained himself all day. That or he was just worried they were coming from him. But they weren't. He was a good man, but Leo was a worrier. And there were no other people there. You'd call him up, you'd say, hey, I think I got a little toothache, I need to come in. He'd say, well, what are you doing now? Now that's kind of a sign, but nevertheless, I think he knew what he was doing. But there was just one thing. Leo did not believe in Novocaine. I don't think he owned any Novocaine. I'm assuming he was licensed to possess Novocaine, but he didn't have any. It didn't matter how much drilling he had to do. He'd say, I don't think you need any Novocaine. I think you can handle this. Well, first of all, I don't have a big pain threshold. I really can't handle anything. Taking off a Band-Aid is like a 2-day event for me. So no, I really couldn't handle it. But Leo was the guy, and my dad made us go see Leo. So my dad, finally I get to be 18 and I have a car and I can go out and find another dentist. And I say, Dad, why? Why, Leo, why do you insist we go to him? My dad, who has a pretty large pain threshold, said, well, he's a great man. I served in the military with him. And I said, yeah. And he said, well, Leo was tortured and forced to perform dental surgery on the Japanese while he was a POW. This is the kind of guy my dad thought would be the ideal dentist, a guy with post-traumatic stress. I'm a champion of the little guy, so I always get me a little cat, and so I think that helps. This cat weighs about 6.5 pounds. My son actually has a 21-year-old cat who weighs 3 pounds. Now, that's not good. But my cat's 18, the cat's doing well. The big thing is they get to be 18 and they've got this, that's like 98 for a human. And so they have the same problem any 98-year-old has. The 98-year-old sits on the hopper and grunts all day. So the 18-year-old cat, they're constipated. But hey, I put a little Miralax in the water. Not really a problem.
I can think of no other animal that does less, though, to earn such an easy life than a cat. What do we get out of them?
Well, at first glance, yes, it's true. They're not going to fetch your newspaper for you, and they're certainly not going to warn off any intruders. I had a guy who came in one day, it came in about 4 in the morning, broke onto my porch, and I looked up because I'm awake at 4 in the morning, and I looked up from my desk to see this guy looking, and I heard the cat sort of hiss a little, and the cat, I didn't see the guy right away. I just heard the noise, and my cat rushed down to the basement, and I thought there's someone in the basement, but of course my cat was just hiding from this person. Here's what a cat gives you. One thing, the cat will teach you acceptance. A dog you can control. To me, it's like crypto-Nazis who have dogs. I know I shouldn't say that, but it's controlling people who have dogs. Sit, you tell a cat to sit. The cat's like, what? You're not going to order me around. The cat orders you around. But the cat teaches you acceptance because there is nothing you can do to modify the cat's behavior.
I needed an honest cup of coffee before Gelfand took on Republican presidential candidates Carly Fiorina, Donald Trump, Bobby Jindal, Ben Carson, and Marco Rubio. We didn't have time for the rest.
Oh yeah, Carly Fiorina. She was supposedly the superstar of the first flight of underachievers, the kind of second flight, and now I'm pretty sure she'll be in the main stage with the other 9 dudes. These are the staples of the senior citizen diet. This is a woman who scares me, I'll be honest. I took a look at that stern visage, that scowl, and apparently the American people saw competence. I saw my old grade school principal calling me in and telling me that the assistant principal was about to hit me. Every year, every presidential year, there's someone running who runs on their experience as a corporate magnate. She, however, although she is running because her one credential is she used to be the CEO of Hewlett-Packard. That's her claim to fame. Now, the company lost like 50% of its value while she was the CEO, laid off 30,000 people. I don't know that qualifies her, and yet I don't know that anyone who was a corporate dude, even Donald Trump, I don't know that that's the kind of experience we're looking for. The purpose of a corporation is basically, especially with the Supreme Court now saying they're people, the purpose, if they're people, is to be the most ruthless, despicable sociopath you can possibly be. She may have qualified as that. Corporations, of course, are supposed to make money no matter how ruthless they have to be, no matter whose back they have to make the profit on. See, here's the thing. This is a country, not a corporation. The purpose of the United States of America is not to make a profit. The purpose is to make sure that the citizens are able to have a dignified, productive life. My impression, I thought Trump was inventive. I thought he was novel. I thought he was forceful. I think it's going to be a while before he fades in the polls. If he even does, I assume he will. I thought he had some brilliantly original lines of reasoning. Like when he was asked about basically being a sexist and about calling women, ugly pigs, fat pigs. I think fat pig was the one that kind of set the whole thing off. And he said, of course, I don't have time to be politically correct. Probably the first time that any major political candidate has suggested that calling a woman a fat pig was a big time saver. But I guess he could have called her a porcine cow. That would have taken longer. The thing about Bobby Jindal, and you could say this about a lot of these guys, is how do they wake up one morning and look in the mirror and say, you know what, I should really be president because I'm not in over my head enough as it is. Bobby Jindal, he's the governor of Louisiana. What is Louisiana known for? What do they lead the country in year after year? Okay, there's a couple things. One would be out of wedlock pregnancy, and 2 would be illiteracy. And the third one kind of goes with the first 2, no offense, church attendance. Well, ironically, I think Ben Carson demonstrated that you actually don't have to be a brain surgeon to run for president. Yeah, Marco Rubio. He's glib, comfortable in front of the camera. The only thing I wonder about is, there's, 16 candidates, 17, I can't keep track. Do they all have an origin story about growing up in a clapboard shack and eating gruel until they were 17? In the famous words of Raymond Chandler, coffee, black, made this week.
I visited both the Republican and the DFL pavilions on the first day of the Minnesota State Fair. The Minnesota State Fair, well, it's kind of like Coney Island, but without an ocean, and like Calcutta, but without a dress code. The Bernie Sanders team was at the DFL pavilion. It's a noisy place. I couldn't really tell if these millennials were pitching for Bill Clinton or Hillary. The guy kind of looks like Bill. But because they didn't ask for my email address, I figured it was Hillary. Lieutenant Governor Tina Smith prompted a lot of smiles. I'm hoping she runs for governor. Complete with cardboard cutouts, the DFL Hall of Heroes. Interesting. The Republicans also had these cardboard cutout figures. And I'm sensing a photo op.
Did you vote for Ronald Reagan?
Yeah.
Were you happy with his results?
I was, yes.
You wish he was still around?
I do.
All right, we all miss him.
In politics, it's all about who you know. Back in 1989, after lunch with Don Trump, Ron, George Sr., and myself had some pal time in the theater district. Oh, come on. This is no Photoshop trick.
But it is proud as Governor of Minnesota declared today, Ye Old Mill Day in the state of Minnesota. So congratulations.
Earlier at Ye Old Mill, Governor Mark Dayton and the mayors of Minneapolis and St. Paul helped celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Antique Tunnel of Love ride.
I'm never been sure whether the state fair is in Minneapolis or in St. Paul. Well, I think they should share the fair. You know, it's all I know is it's in Minnesota.
And I like to claim it for St. Paul, but we're actually in Falcon Heights. So I celebrate.
You know, between you and me, Peter Lindstrom, the mayor of Falcon Heights, should have been invited. 2/3 of his small suburban town's geography includes not only this throwback to simpler times, but the U of M's farm campus and golf course and one of America's top state fairs. Stand proud, Mr. Mayor. The most impressive, maybe the most poignant thing at the fair for me was inside the Eco Experience Pavilion. This spinning mass of garbage is made from plastic bags, the kind we carry out of Walgreens, Target, and Cub Foods. They call the assemblage, this giant sculpture, Bagnado. It's well named. Science says that it takes 500 to 1,000 years for plastic waste to disintegrate. The stuff has become a pox on Mom Nature, her children, and our only home. Think about that as you walk out of Kowalski's or Walmart. Now, only a few American states and cities, and a couple of countries, recycle or ban plastic bags. Although St. Louis Park and Minneapolis are considering controls, the rest of us are lazy. It's time for Minnesotans to manage their use of plastic bags. And it's also time for the legislature to take some action. 2 years ago on Democratic Visions, a regular guy named Vic, he's from Rhode Island, visited the Minnesota State Fair, and guess what? He really likes it. Vic, you're from Rhode Island.
That's right. I'm from Cranston, Rhode Island. Proud Rhode Islander.
Ah, great, good.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
Rhode Island is a small state, but it's noted for you, right?
It's packed with power, and it's known for me and my buds. We like to hang. We like to have fun. You know, we like to hang out at the pizzeria. Got the greatest pizza in America, etc. Yeah.
But still, you came to Minnesota for our state fair.
That's correct.
Because your state fair must be kind of tiny compared to Minnesota's.
I don't even know where ours is. It's somewhere out in the western part of the state. Minnesota State Fair is fantastic. It's famous. I once had a girlfriend from out here. She told me about it, so I come out here. You know, I'm pretty regular.
Sure. One thing about the way Minnesotans dress.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're not as fashionable as East Coast people. And what you see at the state fair sometimes is a sartorial horror show. What was your take on it?
Oh, well, I myself have no sartorial standards whatsoever. I mean, you guys put me in this shirt. Otherwise, I would have had on this garish T-shirt, you know, like I'm with stupid or something.
Okay.
So I am not bothered. In fact, I dig it. You know, I'm looking around, and I'm like, I want some of those shirts, man. Like where do I get that on, like, you know, online or whatever?
What about the Minnesota State Fair did you enjoy the most?
I enjoyed the cat videos this year.
The cat videos?
Yeah, oh yeah, your Walker Arts Center with the cat videos. And they showed 65 freaking cat videos. And it was fantastic because it made me think of my cat back home.
What's the name of your kitty?
Pinky. He is immense, this cat. And I'm going to make a video of him. I swear.
I can tell you're a man's man because you're not afraid to name your own cat something like Pinky.
My ex-girlfriend named him.
Oh, I see.
I probably would have named him something like Arthur, you know.
Arthur, okay.
Yeah, you know,
good,
something
good.
a little more dignified. But
Now, I heard you stop by the Republican Pavilion at the Minnesota State Fair.
That's right.
What's your take on our good colleagues?
Well, I'm divided. I'm uncertain of where my political loyalties ought to go. You know, because like I don't want to be like an effete liberal elitist on the one hand,
Yeah.
nor do I wish to be a drum-beating, you know, conservative Neanderthal on the other. So where should I end up? You know, I ask myself, I ponder this question all the time, because I'm very middle of the road right now. You know,
Really?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you also stopped by the DFL Pavilion.
I was checking it out as well to see what, you know, the DFL is, which is, there's a whole initial thing here, isn't there? DFL, what does that actually stand for?
I really don't. I think Democratic Farmer Labor. It used to be 3 parties, we're now 1.
Oh, 3 into 1.
Yeah.
That's almost like the Trinity or something, isn't it? Yeah.
But remember Hubert Humphrey,
Oh, sure.
Walter Mondale.
I loved them.
Yeah, people like that. Now, how do Republicans dress compared to Democrats here in Minnesota?
For one thing, they've got the Eagles on the T-shirts, and they've got the kill them all and let God sort it out kind of T-shirts and stuff, some of which is pretty exciting, and some of which seems a little over the top to me, you know.
What was the most irritating thing about the fair that you attended?
I think it was probably it was probably the fireworks, because as I was leaving the cat videos, the fireworks started, and they're right over your head. My God, it's like we're attacking Syria right over your head.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, so I was frightened for a moment. Another irritating thing, to be perfectly honest with you, was just the constant rattle of the what do you call it, the rides thing, the midway thing, up and down.
It's the midway, the roller coaster.
It makes me nauseous. You know,
Yeah.
I don't go on the rides.
Okay.
I can't go on the rides.
Now, I heard your friends from Rhode Island left you behind.
Well, God, yeah.
And you're having to stay in a cheap motel on University Avenue.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel kind of hurt?
You know, I'm not really, because the guys, they got excited about getting home, and they don't have the relationship to Minnesota that I do, because I've been here more than them, and they were missing things at home like really high quality pizza. Let's be honest, and I'm okay with Minnesota pizza. And I decided that I was going to linger around a little longer, sucking up your atmosphere here and your Minnesota niceness, which I really like it.
Are you going to bring that back to the East Coast when you return?
You know, I try in my modest way to spread that around. Yeah, I do. I try to bring in a little Minnesota niceness into a ball.
Yeah.
And kind of, tuck it in my pocket. And then when I'm home, when I'm in the middle of some squawking ruckus between, people on the East Coast like they are. You know how they are. They can get very,
Yeah, I used to live there.
Well,
Now, one thing you might do, you might bring some Minnesota foods back to Rhode Island.
Oh, sure,
Like
yeah.
lime flavored Jello, creamettes.
Yes, and
things
your
like that.
booyah, the booyahs,
Booyah,
yes, whatever those
yeah,
are.
yeah.
It's a very intriguing word.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Any advice for Minnesota's political future from the East Coast, where politics are really hard-boiled?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I was impressed with what you guys think is corruption out here. I mean, corruption in Minnesota is a big phone bill, for God's sake. Get with it. I mean, if you want to be in the big leagues, you're going to have to start, emulating Providence. Let's put it that way.
Vic of Rhode Island is actually improv humorist Jon Spayde. He performs at the Bryant Lake Bowl Theater and other venues, including colleges and conferences. Vic is one of many characters in his quiver. Well, enough already. We'll see you next time.
Democratic Visions is independently crafted by volunteers, mostly Democrats, from Eden Prairie, Minnetonka, Edina, and Bloomington.
We got the passion, we got to do the work. Thank you.
Now, I'm going to get into in just a minute.
10 electoral votes on the basis of who the tallest.
Hello, everybody.
And
Welcome.
to walk
My
with
name
us
is
to understand how
you
we
have
can
to
restore.
you learn very quickly.
On Sunday, August 31st, I
Cool. Play that. Play that.
The career I wanted in LA had already been taken.
By who?
Meryl Streep.
This land is mine.
Democratic Visions is independently handcrafted by lefty Southwest Suburban volunteers for the entire metro region.
Damn, they got drones here. And I ain't talking about the editorial board.
Our stuff is always free and it's on YouTube 24/7. Just search for the Democratic Visions channel. That's all for now. Thanks for being with us.